All right, got my oil drain pan in place. Again, I'm sure it was from Harbor Freight or Home Depot maybe. Now I'm just gonna loosen this. See if I can do this without dropping my phone in the oil. Probably not. Just take 2 wrenches, pop this off of there. And voila. Can I get my camera? Voila. We have oil draining out. Now we're just going to sit here and let this drain. When it quits draining, I'm going to pop that filter off there. Now these filters, they don't put them in easily accessible spots. You either go to it from underneath or you get to it from up here. I try to reach in from the top just simply because it's easier to get your hand in there. But sometimes the dang thing got a little tight over the season. See if I can't get this off there. There she goes. So as you can see, all this stuff in here, it doesn't help, but usually what I do, again, after I get this filter swapped out, get the oil changed, get everything lubed, is I'll give it a good power wash. See, now you got the oil. Move our pan around a little bit. Let that oil from the oil filter start dripping down in there. And that oil filter is going to have to come out toward the camera right here. So you hold it on there till you feel that last thread pop off there. Then just kind of tilt it like that. Slide it forward. And you can just reach in here. And pull it out without making too much of a mess. Definitely need to change the oil every year. And we'll just flip this over in here and let it drain down with the rest of that. Now I already have my oil in here. I've got at least 2. I got 2.5 quarts. Got my new filter. Now, everybody knows, typically you should fill up your oil filter, not fill it up, but half full, 3/4 full before you put your filter back on, because you don't want it to be trying to fill up the oil filter and basically pumping your engine dry while you're trying to start it up after you fill your oil. So let me show you how this works. So we're going to take our fresh oil right here. We're going to pour a little bit, pour this no more than half full, because as you recall, I've got to put this thing on there sideways. So if it's more, actually about 1/3 full, if it's more than 1/3 full, it's going to start running out that hole right there and make even a bigger mess. So we're just going to pour some of this in here. And then we're gonna, can't get my finger in there, take a little bit of that, we're gonna spread this fresh oil around the top right here. So that will get a nice good seal whenever we put it back on. Now I'm going to try to put my rag down there, clean off where this mounts, make sure that it gets a good, nice, clean fitting. Not going to be able to hold the camera and do that at the same time, unfortunately. So now it's just reverse of what we did earlier. I set this down in there, if I can find my camera. I set this down in right here. I'm just going to reach in from this side. Let me show you what right here is where it goes. If I can get the camera on there. And then so that's where it mounts. And so I've got that all cleaned up. We'll try to put this on here without spilling too much of that oil out. Okay, and then it touches, and then you want to spin it about another half turn. No more than hand tight, because that thing will be too tight to get off there if you make it too tight. All right, right there. Now we are going to make sure we close off our little thing down here. So now we've got our oil drain line capped off. We got our new filter installed. Now, put in about 1.7 quarts of oil. All right, we got our 1.5 quarts in. Like I said, this thing says it holds 1.7. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put the cap back in there. I'm gonna fire this up, let it run for about 3 minutes, come back, check the oil level. All right, I got this thing warmed up, and you know how I knew it was warm? Well, because I saw smoke coming off of it. I thought, why in the world is smoke coming off of it? I didn't get any oil all over that thing. No, my glove that I left laying over here vibrated off and fell down onto the muffler. I don't know if I got that in the camera just right. So now, the next time I ride my mower, I'm gonna get to smell the rest of that as it burns off. So make sure you don't leave stuff laying around on your engine while you're letting it warm up. All right, I got my cap off there. I got the oil, all the oil wiped off. We're gonna slide this down in there, just set it right there on top, not screw it down. Pull it back out. Check our oil level. What do we got here? I don't see any oil on it at all. Maybe some along that corner there. There's some. I think we're gonna need some more oil. And so we're gonna do this, put some in there, start it up, run it again, make sure it circulates, and we're gonna check it again to make sure that we got it at the perfect amount. Okay, so I'm gonna point out to you guys why I keep manuals after I buy a piece of equipment, and why you should also. This is, again, this tells us the lube points where you just need a little oil because it's metal to metal contact, like hinge points, bolts that are moving positions, and then areas where you actually want to lube with grease. Now this is the stuff that I use. This is just a white lithium grease. This is, as it says, for metal to metal lubricant, hinge points, etc., automotive use, etc. You can see brake and gear shift mechanisms, steering parts, hinges, latches, etc., sprockets, chains. And then I use this Mystic high temp grease here. And this is an expenditure that after I did that thing by hand with your old style grease gun one time, I went out and bought this. Now this is going to be $150 or more. I forget what it was. That is the best thing in the world. You put your tube of grease in here, just like a regular grease gun. You plug this sucker in and you pull the trigger, and that battery right there it just pump, 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 pump until you see grease squirt out the other side and you're done. You don't have to do all this hand pumping or anything. That right there is a wonderful investment. I really would advise anybody to get one. All right, now I'm not gonna walk you guys through every grease point and everything on there. Again, your instructions tell you all that. Just highly advise that you do that at least once a year. Now, some people are gonna argue, I should have done all this before I put it up for the winter. It would be ready to get out at the beginning of the mow season. Now, there's a lot of truth to that. The difference is, I live in Oklahoma, so I can mow all the way till November, sometimes early December. Sometimes I get the mower out to mow leaves. There's not a lot of leaves and trees in my yard, but if I want to mow leaves to get rid of them, get them away from the fence, etc., that means I got to get the mower out. So I may not be putting this thing up until sometime in December. Well, now it's early March, and I'm ready to get this thing out because I'm going to be mowing in 2 weeks. I'll either mow before the end of March or at the very beginning of April. It's just the mow season around here. Now, in April, in Oklahoma, we'll stop mowing grass around the middle of October, first part of November. But again, keep the mower out just to get rid of leaves and stuff like that. But end of the year, beginning of the year, it's debatable. It's your call. I totally get it, putting it up, lubed, cleaned, ready to just pull it out and go to work. Totally get that. I'm all for that. Just most of the time, that's not the way it works around my house. Just the way it goes. But anyhow, I'm going to finish getting this thing lubed up, ready to go, and we'll see what it looks like at the end. Almost half a tube of grease to lube that thing. Just so you know, here's kind of what we're looking at. Grease zerts, oil metal to metal contact. I want to leave that down in there. And we have grease zerts over here. If I can find it with my camera. On either side. So you just have to make your way around the mower, look at the instructions, figure out all your lube points, figure out where to change your oil, figure out what kind of oil. It's not hard, kind of time consuming. All in all, this took me about an hour. Typically wouldn't take that long, but I had to clean the deck off, as you saw. So if you're a first-time homeowner with a yard and you get you a mower that's not a push mower, this is what you're going to have to deal with every year. So keep that in mind. Hey, I hope you guys like this video. If you do, give me a thumbs up. Come back and see the channel next time. See what else I post out here. You guys have a good one.